Hey, Viola Rules here, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Justice for All. So, I'm doing the testimony cross-examination for Acro, so let's go ahead and press his first statement. You said that you were resting in bed. One would thus assume that you turned the lights off in your room, correct? That's correct, but there are safety lights around the outside of the lodging house. It's so bright sometimes it can make it hard to sleep. If that's the case, wouldn't it be a good idea to close some curtains? Yeah, that is true. I never really thought of that. I guess that means I'm off to buy some curtains. Really? You never thought of that? Haha, sometimes I do make myself useful in these chambers. Of course he gets whipped for that. The witness will proceed with his testimony. Around that time I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Tell me more about the thump noise that you heard. Your room is on the 3rd floor, right? Yes. And you said that you were resting in bed? That is correct. But you were still able to hear a sound from outside? I was indeed. Pressing Acro doesn't seem to get results. Maybe something was contradictory with what he just said? Not as far as I can see. I'm gonna say there's nothing wrong. What's the matter, Mr. Wright? Nothing, Your Honor. Until I can find a clear contradiction, I should tread lightly. Yeah, we don't want to get whipped by Von Karma. Then a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. Oh, are you sure about that? Are you sure it was a human being? It could have been a mannequin, or perhaps a large action figure. Well, setting aside the possibility of a mannequin, an action figure is possible. How? You have no need to mince words with Mr. Wright. Testify to the truth and only the truth, just as if we were there with you that night. Okay. I believe it was a human. Darn, I just strengthened his testimony. I wonder if Acro's statement jives with the facts. Yeah, as far as I can tell, it does. What's the matter, Mr. Wright? Nothing, Your Honor, until I can find a clear contradiction. Yada, yada, yada. I should tread lightly. Okay. So I guess this is just a trend with this testimony. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. Okay. You only saw him from behind, though? That's interesting. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true. I was going to bed after all. So, with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window? The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see. But honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Did you see any of the other symbols? I clearly saw the silk hat as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. Oh really? I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica. Well, that's definitely a contradiction. The more I press him, the less results I seem to get, but maybe there was something fishy with this latest bit of testimony. Yes, there definitely was. There's a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given. Because, you know, he shouldn't have been able to see the silk hat because it was left behind. If there was a contradiction, then prove it with evidence. She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction? I most certainly do. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that? What do you mean? Exactly what I just said. The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state that I'm in. Just looking outside of the window was a tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene. That's the ringmaster's hat, right? No. Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has 2 silk hats? No, he does not. He has only 1. No, this is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand. Okay, finally got him on something. Order! Order! Like always, someone has to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth and now I have to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today? He has a grudge against Max, Acro was dreaming, Acro is the real culprit. Well, it obviously can't be the first two, because they just don't make sense. So Acro has to be the real culprit then. I guess that makes sense with what we know so far, you know, if I think about it. But... oh, because maybe his grudge against Regina? I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it? Your Honor, on this occasion the defense accuses Acro himself. On this occasion? Accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of? Obviously we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Mr. Wright, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honor. Hahaha, I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to remember how to try and grab an audience's hearts and minds. What? Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book. Really? If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. Wow, he's really calm. He's calm enough for it to be almost scary. That's true. He is staying rather calm and collected. I love how his bird is pecking at Phoenix. Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defense's accusation? Oh, the bird might have been drinking Phoenix's sweat, maybe. I don't really need to say a thing, do I? What do you mean? Everyone, take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. That's true. I understand that Mr. Wright is just trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things. My God, he's playing the sympathy card. See, even a slimmer of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous. Uh-oh. She's right. Way to pick on the disabled, you heartless, cruel man. Wow. Phoenix is a poopy head. I guess somebody has a child in the audience. See that, Mr. Phoenix Wright? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well? I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice. What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice? I don't think he did. I mean, unless Money the Monkey counts, if what I'm assuming is correct, but I'm gonna say of course he didn't, because that's what it feels like I should say in this moment. You know, just to get them off my back. Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice. No, not this time. Not this time, Von Karma. What? Oh, were you banking on us actually falling for that? Oh, poor fool. You're not going to sucker me into this one. What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright? There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself. Order! Order! What the? What are you getting at? Way to keep them on their toes, Nick. Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed. Alright, then let's do this. Mr. Phoenix Wright, if this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right? Well, not all lies. Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. Yes? When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingling? If I had to take a guess, he was probably in his room, right? That's what makes sense anyway, because he can't leave, because he's disabled. Like he said, he can't leave the lodging house by himself. Not without assistance anyway, and he had no accomplice for this, so... He was obviously here the entire time. That's Acro's room. Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. There's only one answer to that. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster.
What? Are you nuts?
What say you, Mr. Dingling? Still calm as a cucumber, wow. Cool as a cucumber, I think is the actual right term. It's an interesting theory. Is it? What makes it so interesting, Acro? That's it? Yeah, usually this is when they would get bent out of shape, but not Acro, I guess. Considering that what you propose is impossible, yes, that's it. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there was no way he could go to the scene of the crime or be the killer.
You've got a point. It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime.
That's true.
Mo said that he saw Max, didn't he?
Yeah, and that he flew away. But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? Sure, what is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume.
How did he do it?
That's the next course of legal buffet.
Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here...
She's right, I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster, and he killed the ringmaster while he was in his room. No doubt about it. Time to enlighten us as to how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright. And I do have evidence to present for this, because if my assumption is correct, I think I know how he did it. I'm going to present some evidence. Because I think, like, you know the bust of Max that we found up in his, or that went missing? I think he had it because Money the Monkey always brings all the stuff to his room. So what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime against Russell Berry? He used the bust. Ah, there it is. What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture. Problem? What do you mean? The bust? It's quite a large bust, and because it is life-size, it's also very, very heavy. True. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death, especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this. See? This is how Acro was able to kill the ringmaster. Yeah, that's basically what I thought. He dropped the bust out of the window onto the ringmaster's head when he bent down to pick up the chest, I assume. Maybe the chest had something in it that he didn't want somebody else to see. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. Order! Order! So you're saying the bust fell onto the ringmaster? A rather simple crime. Even if he were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. What now? How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible! Well, Acro is an acrobat. True. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust. He is very buff. Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges? Well... Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro, you can't run away from things— Oh god, what?
I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What? What did I do now?
Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself.
Testimony, you say? Well, karma. She's just using the testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony. The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond. The defense's objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony.
The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him.
Thank you. Ugh, that woman will sink to any low to win a case. Yes, she will. Okay, witness testimony. Acro's physical state. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. You suppose? I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat and only my legs were injured. True. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? No, I don't think that at all. Because that's what the chest was for, to lure the person to stand there, so when they bent over, all he has to do is just chuck the bust out the window, and it falls on them, right? I have no doubts in regards to this witness's testimony. Oh, really? Maybe you should. But, it is weird that he would... I guess... I'm just confused. It was impossible for him to lift the bust and carry it to the window, not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination.
He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really.
I can't let her get to me. I've got to focus. I wonder if I'm wrong about Regina doing the prank to Bat on purpose, but we'll focus on that in the next episode. If you guys enjoyed this one, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all next time.